Hello, everybody. My name is Dan Brown, and with me today is my special guest, Pete, or here on YouTube, he's known as Kenshin1913.
Hey.
And what we're going to be doing today is a tutorial on animation. And the subject I'm going to be covering today is walking from stage left to stage right. And the method I use is known as frame by frame animation. There are other kinds of animation called like tweened animation where you can move graphics around and give the illusion of movement. But I tend to draw I draw the frames individually, and basically the software that I'm using is really old. It's called Macromedia Flash 5, and it might be hard to get now, but basically I'm going to be focusing on the principles of animation, and you should be able to use the same ideas in other programs. Um, and as far as drawing goes, I'm going to be using a Logitech mouse. A lot of people will draw with Wacom tablets, but I learned how to animate with a mouse, so that's what I'm going to be using. Um, so the first thing I'm going to be doing, this first uh, the first thing I want to talk about is the different components of the software. So this area here where the image is called the stage, and it's where the background is and where all the drawing happens. And up here is the timeline. This is where you manage what happens in the movie, like like you arrange the scenes and that sort of thing. And it also lets you manage what uh, like if you can see this line up here, this is where the background is, and this one on top of it is where these sketched characters are. And if I move the background above the characters, they are in front of the characters. And if I move it back below them, the characters are in front. So that hopefully that should give you an understanding of what the workstation looks like.
So each one of those things is a layer, basically?
Yeah, this is a layer here, and then there's another layer. One layer has the background drawing, and one layer has the character sketches.
And the top
And
layer is usually always like, so if you
in
put
the
anything
front,
on, if you always put something, if you put like whatever the first layer is should be your background, right?
the one on the bottom is probably going to be the background. Like
Oh.
I could add another layer on top of this if I want to have like trees and stuff in front of these characters.
Mhm.
But all right, and so these characters here are they're from kind of like a sketch or a storyboarded version of the story that we're going to be working on. And Pete scanned these into the computer and sent them to me, and I imported them into Flash. And basically, the story is it's a swords and sorcery story about our KR47 characters. Me and Pete are members of a off-color comedy group known as KR47, and we often like use ourselves as the characters just because we tend to make fun of each other a lot, and uh and we try sometimes we create cartoons around some of the stuff we say to each other and the different ways we make fun of each other. So this character is me. This is Pete. I only show the top half of him because the story kind of involves him not having any pants at some point. And this character over here is Rob, and I'm going to be focusing on Rob's character
You
for
mean
this
Chris?
tutorial. This is Rob.
Oh.
Chris isn't up here yet.
Okay.
All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to zoom in on Rob's character a little bit so I can work with him in a little more detail.
Now how'd you do that?
There's a magnifying glass tool over here,
Yeah.
and you can select to whether to zoom in or zoom out. There's a plus for zooming in and a minus for zooming out,
Mhm.
and so you can kind of drag and drop and focus on the whatever you want to work on. And then let me label this so it's clear. These are the sketches up here, and I'm gonna add another label layer that I'm gonna manipulate. And basically, this is where I'm gonna draw the animated portion. So I have a background layer here. I have a sketch of the characters here, and I'm gonna have the moving layer on over here. So I'm gonna label this Rob, and I'm gonna choose a bright color to draw in, just so it stands out from the rest. And I'm not gonna really work with colors that much apart from this red color for the time being. This is what it's called, the pencil test layer, because in old timey old fashioned animation before computers were starting to be used, they would draw the characters on pencil, and they'd have like a flip book sort of thing where you draw the different frames of the movement on pencil and paper, and then later they'd use plastic cells and use inks to trace over the characters, and then they'd color them in with various inks. But for the pencil test portion where I'm drawing the actual movements, I'm just going to be using a red coloration, and I'm going to trace over Rob's frame for the first frame of the animation. All right, so here goes. This is probably a little bit boring. I think I'm going to do the shape a little bit differently from how I drew him here, because I kind of did like a sloppy job, and it looks a little bit less like Rob than I normally draw him. Okay.
So what button are you pressing to undo?
I usually just do Control Z to undo. It's pretty standard for
Okay.
most computer programs. Rob's got like shorter hair in this one.
Yeah.
I tend I tend to draw the characters based on how we looked during when I came up with the story,
Mhm.
or something like that. My character has longer hair in this one because I had longer hair when I did it. There are kind of like different eras of KR47.
Yeah.
There's like the oldest version where you know, some of the older cartoons I just have that black hooded sweatshirt, and Rob just had like this blue work shirt on, and the characters kind of evolved as time went on.
Mhm.
I'm
Now,
gonna make
Dan, what about if you didn't have like a template already ready to draw out the character?
I would have to I would basically have to draw them from scratch.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna make Rob's proportions a little bit differently because I feel like the sketch was a little sloppy. So all right, so this is gonna be the first frame of the animation, and how I'm going to make this work is I'm going to have an animation of probably 12 frames, and I'm going to loop those 12 frames. It's going to be Rob walking in place, and then I'm going to use tweened animation to move his frame from one side of the screen to the other. So in order to do that, I'm sure it'll make more sense as I go on. But I'm going to select the drawing I just did, and I'm going to uh, I'm going to convert this to a symbol, a graphic symbol called let's call it Rob Walks. And so now he's a graphic, and that I can edit, and I'm going to click on the graphic to edit it, and now I'm editing Rob apart from the other stage where I had a background and the sketch drawings. Like now the background and the sketch are faded in the background,
Mhm.
and I'm just manipulating Rob's character. So I found that the best number of frames for walking is about 12 frames, 12 drawings that are that are moving in consecutive order to give the illusion of movement. And actually, another thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go back out of the Rob image, and I'm going to make these two invisible. So now I'm just going to be working with um, the Rob image without any distractions. So, all right. Um, let's see. All right. So one thing to keep in mind when you're making somebody walk is that there are a couple of different positions. Um, Actually, I can tell right off the bat that I made a mistake when I was doing this. when I did the sketch, because when you're walking, your right arm and your left leg move forward and backward together, and your left arm and your right leg move forward and backward together. So in this drawing, I have the right arm forward and the right leg forward. So that is a mistake, and I'm gonna fix that by let's just make this left leg into the right leg. Delete this. So now the right arm and the right leg are opposites.
Hmm.
And let's just make it like his elbow visible behind him. All right, so this is gonna be the first frame. Now the next frame I'm going to do, you don't always draw the frames in order. Like sometimes you have to draw the images at key points first and then fill in the frames in between.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna do the next frame is going to be when Rob's legs are directly underneath his body. So first let's draw this in blue so it's easier to see. I'm gonna draw Rob's head. Might be boring for a second.
Yeah. So, Dan, you ever think about using a tablet?
Um, I've tried tablets in the past, but I don't really have a lot of money to buy one, and the ones that I've experimented with were, I don't know, they're a little strange for me, so I tend not to use them. Like I'm pretty happy with the mouse, though sometimes if my mouse breaks and I have to buy a new one, I find myself you know I can't always find the same exact mouse that I was using, and I have to get a different mouse, and usually that the new mouse that I use is going to be a different shape and different sensitivity, so I have to like become accustomed to a new mouse. Um, so yeah, I tend to prefer mice. All right, so here's the body of Rob, and since I'm doing the the frame where Rob's legs are directly underneath him, his because his leg is not slanted and it's directly beneath him and it's straight, it's going to be pushing his body upward. So this on this frame, he's got to be considerably high. That his body has to be higher than the frame where his legs are spread out. So let's see. Let's make this leg here.
This is all stuff I don't even think about when you think about like animating movements.
Yeah. Well, I guess one of the good things about having you here is that if you have like if I'm not being clear, because I tend to not be a very clear speaker.
Hmm.
So hopefully if like you have any questions that you
So,
think
can you
are
use this
right.
top of his body? Can you use just the top of his body, like make one frame, and then just have his legs move, and then like adjust the top and bottom? You know what I mean? Like make it
You can
like have his body go up and down, and you can use this. Are you showing like the three walk animations, and then you're gonna put them all together? Is
um
that how you're doing this?
well I'm gonna draw all the frames
And
individually. Like a lot of people I mean a lot of people do just draw the body and then have the legs move, but I tend to like to draw the frames out because it gives it sort of a sloppier real life feel to it.
yeah.
Like a lot of the time when people use tweened animations, I mean they do they have certain tricks to make it more fluid and more natural,
Mm-hmm.
but I find that I just prefer my style to be a little bit sloppier and look you know I feel like it just makes it look a little bit more video like to me, but that's just my opinion. I mean, you can if once you get the hang of this and you want to experiment with other methods, you're free to do that. So, all right. So far, my key frames are when Rob's legs are the farthest away from his body
Sorry.
and directly uh, underneath his body. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna do the opposite of the two frames I have. So I'm gonna do one where his left leg is bent and his right leg is directly underneath and straight. And I'm gonna do another frame where his right leg is in the back and wait, no, his right leg is in the front and his left leg is in the back and his arms are in the reverse position. So uh let's do I'll do this one first. So I'm going to make this leg a little bit further down because it's in the front, and generally things appear smaller when they're farther away, so and bigger when they're closer up. So because this leg is in front, I'm going to make it a little lower down than the left leg was when it was in this position, and I'm going to make this leg a little bit farther back. So
So couldn't you just copy and paste like Rob, like at this aspect? Couldn't you just copy and paste like Rob's body and then adjust it as at will?
I could do that, but but like I said, I like it to be a little bit more fluid
Yeah.
because when you have too many copy and pastes, I find that it looks a little bit too mechanical and rigid. So I try to give it like the fluidness so it looks more in my opinion, it looks more natural and animated and fluid.
Mhm.
But anyway, the cartoon that I'm working on right now is a cartoon that we're going to be if I can finish it in time, we're hoping to have this cartoon on our KR47 DVD. Like we're gonna try to, I guess, what are we gonna call it? Like maybe the best of KR47 or something like that.
Yeah.
But we're gonna try to edit some of our best stuff together, and in order to make it like worth our fans, we want it to be, we want them to get like the most for their money. So we're gonna have so it's not all gonna be like stuff that they've seen before or stuff that they could get free on the internet. We're trying to get some exclusive content available.
Mhm.
So this cartoon is gonna be exclusive content for our KR47 DVD, which we're gonna hopefully have um, done by August, because we're gonna be we're gonna be going to ComiConn
Yeah.
in August,
And the
and
ComiCon is going to be the August 15th through the 17th. That is a Friday through Sunday at the Harbor Yard at the Bridgeport Webster Bank Arena, or as like we like to call it, the Harbor Yard in Bridgeport, Connecticut.
yeah,
I don't have the zip code, but if you are in the Connecticut area, it's probably going to be one of the biggest comic book conventions in
hmm,
the area. And I have a feeling that it's just going to continue to grow and be amazing. I'm planning on doing, I don't know, just a quick plug, I guess. I'm planning on doing a live Let's Play from the Comic Con. I'm going to get people involved. I'm going to get people over. We're gonna get the mic out. We're going to talk. We're probably going to play like a really easy game, and it's going to be a live Let's Play from the Comic Con. It's going to be pretty cool.
cool.
We're going to have we're KR47, our group, and Kenshin 1913 have a table at the Comic Con. We will be there all 3 days, giving out swag, free swag. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be real fun. There's gonna be lots of cool guests. There's gonna be Winston from Ghostbusters is gonna be there. Ernie Hudson, the guy who played one of the agents of Shield, will be there. I forget the guy's name off the top of my head, but he'll be there. There's going to be the Batmobile from the new Batman movie, from the last one, The Dark Knight Rises or whatever. Or
Yeah, I remember last year, um,
there's going to be TARDISes, Dan, for Doctor Who
TARDIS is
fans. TARDISes. They're
nice.
going to actually have, you can get in that TARDIS and take a picture or something.
I remember last year they had like they I know they had the Bat Cycle and they
Yeah.
also had like an R2D2 that was driving around and they had like sand speeders
Hmm.
from the first Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
They have a lot of cool things
They
there.
got a lot of great animators that are going to be there. I mean, they got the guy who does Gren and Stimpy.
Oh yeah,
They they're gonna have a whole bunch of other guests that I at this point when Dan we're making this video I don't even know, but apparently they're gonna have even more guests. So
hmm.
yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Oh,
Yeah, it's a bigger venue.
Agent Stillwell or something. I believe that's the agent's name. Whoever played him from the from Iron Man 2. He's from from Captain America 2, and he's in the Avengers, and he was an agent of Shield. He's in this. He's gonna be at the ComiConn. It's gonna be awesome, and it's ComiConn with two N's.
Yeah, for Connecticut.
Yeah, con with two N's. But yeah, the ComiCon's gonna be amazing. I believe it's gonna be amazing. So Dan, what are you doing up there with those little dots and squares and rectangles and stuff?
All right, so like I was saying, I start off with the two keyframes. I drew the opposite keyframe. So now I have two over here that are opposites.
Okay, so Dan, this whole box up there, that's what you call a what?
The timeline up
No,
here.
no, 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 no. The square box you have is layer one right there.
Oh,
The big white box you got there. What's
th this box I've set aside some frames.
Yeah, those are
I've set
12
aside
frames you said, right?
Yep,
Okay.
and these are the different these little dots are the drawings that
Oh,
I'm
okay.
going
I
to be
get you.
working with.
All right.
All right, so I have I have a pair of opposites here, and I have a pair of opposites here.
Mhm.
One where the right leg is in front, and one where the or the right leg is straightened out, and one where the left leg is straightened
Yeah.
out. So let me just touch up. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna arrange these. So because it's 12 frames, the first frame's opposite has to be on frame 7 because if you divide 12 in half,
You got
you have
6.
two groups of 6, and so the opposite of the first frame is going to be on the first cell of the next group of 6. So it works out to be frame 7, and then I'm going to move this other opposite to the middle of that group of 6. So now I have the basis of Rob,
Walking.
Sir Rob, as he's called in this episode, walking, just walking along. All right, so what I'm gonna do
Now, how do you fill the in betweens?
So basically, how you fill in the in betweens is you use what is called onion skin, like in the old like in the olden days, back when they used paper and you know, plastic sheets to use the previous layers as guide layers. They would use something that was called onion skin, which is like it's generally really thin white paper that allows you to see through it, so you can see the previous frame.
Yeah.
So this light drawing is the onion skin layer from the frame before that one. And these little circles up here are used to adjust how much onion skin you can see.
Mm.
So if I move this bar over this way, I can show you these two frames here, and
Mhm.
if I move it a little bit further, I can see the frame I'm currently on and two frames to the right. And if I move it back this way, you can see the frames before it.
Yeah.
All right, so in order to draw the frames in between, I'm going to select this. Oops, I'm going to select a frame in between the two frames that I'm using as a guide, and I can see the frame right before it and the frame that's two frames ahead.
Mhm.
And so basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw what Rob looks like in between these two frames.
Yeah.
Now, if I was like a fancy professional animator, I'd probably have what's called an in-betweener who would do all that work for me. But since we're a low budget operation, I have to do a lot of this myself. So I'm gonna
Do.
let's choose green so it stands out a little bit more. And I don't want to draw the frames exactly in the middle because there are only two frames in between. So one in between frame is going to be a little bit closer to the one before it, and then the next one is going to be a little bit closer to the one after, if that makes
Mm-hmm.
sense. So I'm going to draw the frame that comes immediately after the first frame, which is the one that's in red. So I'm going to make this drawing a little bit closer to the red drawing than the blue drawing. So I'm not going to draw this exactly in the middle. It's just going to be a little bit closer to the red drawing.
Yeah, it also, you know what? It also helps that you know how to draw these characters like almost
Yeah.
by heart because you know,
Yeah, it helps.
it,
A lot of it is tracing. So, I mean, I'm sure if I had like, if you know, like I was saying before, if I had like an in-betweener, as long as that person had a steady hand, he might be able to do a lot of the in-betweening. But you know, the keyframes are probably the hardest to do. So, all
so
right.
you're gonna have to draw. So what ends up happening to get one movement of Rob, one 12 frame movement of Rob is you have to draw 12 individual frames, and then you can take that one big clip and then make it one, and then I mean then copy and paste it to make him walk across the screen.
Well, it's this is kind of like a loop. It
Oh
loops its
yeah, that's what I
girlfriend
mean. You
over and over
loop it.
again.
You're gonna loop it so it looks like he's walking across the screen.
Yeah, I'm gonna loop it so it's kind of like he's walking on this treadmill, and then I take the animation of him walking on a treadmill, and I program the computer so the computer moves the invisible treadmill
Yeah, the
across the
basically
screen.
the
So
background, right?
yeah,
All right, I get you there. So for this second layer or this second frame, you gotta draw like a little closer to the red than the blue.
yeah. Just gonna draw a little bit of detail. I feel like I maybe I made it a little too simple artistically.
Oh,
All right, so um, all right, so here his foot is just touching the
how
ground.
come you're making it blue?
Oops,
Sorry,
it's okay.
just gotta have it color coordinated, Dan, so people can understand how this works. All
All
right,
right.
I believe I'm starting to learn a little bit about animation here.
Hmm.
Actually, I'm gonna be having a. I've been thinking about doing a couple of giveaways of certain things. One artistic thingy that I'm thinking about giving out, Dan, is the tablet I bought.
Nice.
Yeah, the Wacom tablet. Since you're not gonna bother using it, I was thinking about giving it away. See if someone who's like artsy or who someone who I don't know who could use it.
All right, I hear you. All right, so now I have this green layer, which is it's in between the first layer and the fourth layer, but it's a little bit closer to the first level uh, in terms of configuration, I guess. Maybe there's a better word to use for that, but so now I have the second layer and the fourth layer, and I'm going to draw the third level, which is going to be exactly in between the green layer and the blue layer.
Mm-hmm. Why don't you make this like yellow or purple or something? I don't know.
All right, let's do purple. Maybe this bright purple will stand out pretty well. So yeah, now because I already did one layer that was a little askew, I can make this layer in between exactly in between the green layer and the blue layer.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do his nose first. So any other swag that you're gonna be giving away
Oh, we're
besides
gonna
the
I think we're doing buttons again. We're gonna do bottle openers, people like that. No keychains this year. Like last year we gave out keychains and mirrors. I don't think we're gonna do mirrors. I don't remember if we did magnets or no. I'm not sure if we're gonna do magnets. And yeah, this year we're gonna do stickers. We're gonna give away like the thing that we've been doing, which has been kind of cool, is Dan has he's been drawing like people come up to us and we'll draw them as a comic, as their favorite comic book character or whatever, Star Wars, Doctor Who, whatever they want. And we've been doing that the past couple of years, and people have been giving us some donations. And Dan like literally sits there, draws them like one kid wanted to be Iron Man. He drew him as Iron Man. You know, the Hulk. It was really cool. And then while we're waiting, we'll just draw. Dan will just draw the KR47 characters as superheroes, and then people can come and just take them if they want. That's how we've been kind of doing it.
Yeah,
Other swag we're gonna be giving away. I don't know, maybe a shirt or something. Give away some shirts. We've got some
yeah. I think,
KR47 shirts we can give away. We've been trying to sell them, but we don't have enough. I don't think we have a big enough following to actually
yeah.
get anyone to purchase anything.
We're kind of in the promotional stages at this point.
Yeah, we're still in the promotional stages, even though it's been.
What's going on, Pete? Are you being attacked by giant
No, that's
imps?
my niece.
Oh.
So, so we kind of get the gist of how this is working, right, Dan?
Yeah.
How about we finish the in between, since we kind of get the gist of how it works. You know, you gotta kind of draw, you know, the in between frames, and then we'll show, like when we get back, we'll show the you know, how to make this walk one way or the other. You know what I mean? From stage left
Okay.
to stage right.
All right. So you want to pause then?
Yeah. All right. So get your techno music ready, Dan. Show them show them the walking animation.
All right. So this is yeah. It's all colorful and psychedelic.
Yeah.
But anyway, in order to do the last frame, because in the previous thing, there wasn't a frame at the end for me to use as a guide when I was in betweening. I just moved the first frame to the end, and I did the in betweens. Then I moved it back, and then deleted it, so it was back to 12.
Mm-hmm.
So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select each of these frames, and in Flash, when you select a frame up here, if you just like grab it up in the timeline, it will select the whole thing, and then I'm just going to select the color, and it will automatically change it to black, because I tend to use black as the standard line color. I'm going to turn off the onion skin for a minute.
Oh wow.
A lot of people...
Is there a way that you can just like highlight them all and then hit black, or?
Not in the version I have, but maybe in some other version. But
Hmm.
sometimes people they use other colors just to give it their own aesthetic uniqueness. But it shouldn't take too long. I just have to select these 12, and
You couldn't hit
almost there.
Control A on the layer and then try that out.
Control A. What does that do?
That well, Control A is Control All. It would maybe select all the little keyframes, and then you can hit black.
Maybe, but I have to check to see if that function works in Flash. But anyway, I go into the palette here, and I'm selecting the color that I use for skin for generally white people usually. And then I'm just gonna color in all these uh, faces and hands.
Nice. I feel like this is like, uh-oh. I feel like this is like actual animation we're doing here, Dan.
Yeah.
Why is Rob always gotta look so mad?
I don't know. I
Is
guess
that
I make him look a little bit mad just because in
because he's
our original
vicious?
he is vicious, but in our original cartoons he would always be like making fun of me.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's
All right, so I have this other drawing that I did a while ago for the last ComiConn,
yeah.
and I'm gonna be using that as a guide for Sir Rob's colors in
Or,
this
or at
series.
least, yeah, I was gonna say at least the colors, right?
I'm just gonna put it up here for a guide. So let's see.
So how did you do that, Dan?
I just imported that image into Flash, and then you can select images, and then there's a part up here where you modify. You select the image, then you select modify, and then there's a break apart function
Yeah.
that allows you to erase around an image. All
Okay.
right, so let's see. Maybe I'll just see. This drawing is a little bit more complicated than this one.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do. Let's make his sleeves blue, sort of like that. Oops.
So yeah, we did like cool Game of Thrones what the hell is it? Game of Thrones
Buttons and
animations.
magnets.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
for
drew.
buttons and magnets. They didn't go over as well as we originally thought they would. We thought, Game of Thrones is huge. People are gonna this is gonna be awesome, and no one really like. Some people got it, and when they got it, they loved it. But this year we're gonna go with more. We're gonna go with more comic booky things.
Well,
Preferably Avengers, Guardian, any movies that came out this year. Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy, Captain America, stuff like that.
well, would you do you still have those buttons and magnets left over from last year? We still have some of them, right?
Yeah.
Well, do you think that Game of Thrones has grown in popularity since last year?
Oh
Because I
yeah,
feel like whenever
easily.
I go on Facebook, everybody's talking about Game of Thrones. So, I mean, we should probably bring them
Yeah,
just
but
in case anybody wants them.
yeah, the thing about ComiConn is it's more kid. It's like a little more kid thing friendly. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
I hear you.
So so yeah, we'd color all this stuff in. So yellow for the buckle, probably, right?
Yeah.
And probably yellow for the bottom of the sword, right?
Um, I think maybe I'll use this color just because that's it seemed to match the drawing I did before.
Yeah.
Oops, forgot I didn't do a good job connecting all my lines down here.
But yeah, so that should be pretty. Well, no, I think we're just gonna do more comic book guys than we did last year. You know what I mean?
All right.
Probably. I don't know. Well, that's like
Yeah.
something we'd have to sit down and discuss.
Yeah. What do you think? Black or should I?
But I don't care. I guess black. Isn't he supposed to be like? You gotta do the bottom of his pants, don't you? Isn't he supposed to be like royalty or something? Or that's me, right?
This is Rob. He's Sir Rob in this one. And you're Prince Pete.
Yeah. You should
Yeah, it's
probably
kind of
give
like
Rob like I don't know, like uh I don't know what color pants. Yeah, black would probably be fine. So this whole thing that you're making is a symbol, you would call it?
yeah. It's people refer to it as a symbol.
Yeah.
The specific type is a graphic. Um, that's what
Man, nah, you shouldn't make the make like his pants brown or something. I mean
brown.
his shoes brown. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Let's
Like
see.
real brown. Cause like most people back in the day they had brown shoes.
Something like that.
Yeah. Let me tell you that people back in the day, Dan, they loved earth colors, earth tones.
Yeah.
There you go. Now you just gotta give him some pants. Give his pants some color. See, that's the nice thing, I guess, about animating stuff like this is like it just gets pretty easy at this point.
Yeah. All right. So now I have
That is
an
cool, Dan.
yeah.
That's
And
really cool.
you can actually select these, and in Flash, it's probably not a problem anymore because like computers are getting faster, but my computer is really old and like a lot of the lines they come out really jagged
Yeah.
because my computer isn't very fast. So you can select them all like I did before, just by selecting the frame, and you can do Control Shift C, and sometimes it'll, smooth everything out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I'm just gonna probably do that because oops, that deleted his mouth, so maybe I won't. Well,
But yeah, so you can do this. So you gotta click over everything. I bet you if you hit the layer and you do Control A, you should be able to smooth out everything. I bet you.
like this.
Yeah, and then Boom.
Yeah, but it didn't do this layer.
Oh.
It didn't do this frame. I'm almost done though. All we have to do now is once I smooth everything out, all we have to do is motion tween it, and then we're done.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't really take very long because that the tweening part is the easiest part.
It's too bad you can't just set an option on this just to do this automatically.
Yeah.
Smooth it out. I thought it looked pretty good even beforehand.
Uh, yeah, that one's done already. All right, so we're smoothed out a little bit, and now what I'm gonna do, I just like to label these. Um, I'm gonna go up here is where you control where you are. See, right now I'm inside the symbol called Rob Walks, which is a graphic.
Yeah.
And like I said before, it looks like Rob walking on an invisible treadmill. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm gonna click scene one to get out of this.
Yeah.
And before I made these two layers invisible,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna I'm gonna keep the background visible, but I'm gonna make these sketches invisible.
Yeah.
And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move Rob over to the edge of the screen so he's not on the stage. Like
Yeah.
when this is rendered, you're not gonna be able to see anything outside of this box here.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm gonna select this layer.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go insert.
Keyframe,
Uh,
right?
no, it's create motion tween. And
Oh.
remember, I was talking about how I tend to specialize in frame by frame, but I use tween animation a little bit. Like I use a mixture of the two sometimes. So I'm gonna create motion tween, and so basically this there's a keyframe here which says that on the first frame Rob is here, and I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
select the end of this block of motion.
And you want him on the other side,
Yeah, and
right?
I'm just gonna move it right over to the other side. And so what happens is when you play the animation, Rob is gonna walk where I told him to walk during the motion tween.
Yeah, that reminds me of video. That's similar to the video editing, in the essence that you gotta put keyframes in, and you can have one thing start somewhere and one thing start somewhere else. So yeah, and then if you like let's say you, yeah, I was about to say, let's say you want him to walk slower, you would make this
I
thing
would
bigger.
stretch it. Yeah, I'd
Yeah,
stretch this out.
because he is walking kind of fast. That's even fast for Rob. See, that's a
Yeah,
better Rob walk. But yeah, that looks amazing, Dan.
thanks. All right, so I guess do we have anything else to add? I think.
Not really, Dan. I mean, I guess if we can just kind of quickly go over some things about my channel. I know this is your channel, but you know, a lot of people have been asking when are we going to do another video. You seem to have gotten another follower or something. Someone was mentioning how cute you were. Anywho's, we are going to be playing games again. We just need to get our schedules together.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're going to be doing Monkey Island 3.
Hmm.
Dan's going to be playing that. Castlevania 3, since we played both the NES versions, I figured we might as well continue with that tradition of the third one. And then what are we going to be playing? Mad Vlad, right?
Yeah, there's a Flash game that I kind of like. That I don't know if very many people know about it, but I always thought it was a really cool game. So I'd
Yeah.
like to do, some Flash games. But
Yeah, that's
yeah,
about it
maybe.
for everything. For the videos that I can think of, like games that we're going to be playing.
Yeah. So I guess this about concludes the tutorial. And once
Hmm.
again, where is that ComiConn gonna be?
ComiConn is going to be August 15th through the 17th, Friday through Sunday, at the Webster Bank Arena or the Bridgeport Harbor Yard, either one. And that's going to be in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and it's going to be awesome. We're going to be
Yeah.
there. We got a table, KR47, GhostyFilms, Kenshin 1913. We're all going to be down there on one big table, giving away stuff, having a good time. Dan's going to be giving away, Dan's going to be drawing stuff. I'm going to do a live Let's Play. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a
Hmm.
lot of fun. People should come down and enjoy it because it's going to be an awesome time.
And follow me on Twitter, GhostyFilms at GhostyFilms.
Yeah, and if you want, you could do the same with me at Kenshin 1913.
All right, thanks for tuning in.